Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. So chapter 21, Chaitanya Leela, as told by Ishana, Nagara, disciple of Lord Advaita, in his book Advaita Prakasha. So chapter 21, so Chaitanya Leela here. All glories to Sri Chaitanya, all glories to Sitanath, all glories to Nityananda, along with all the devotees. One day, as Mahaprabhu was sitting in a solitary place, he said to his dear Jagadananda, "Go quickly to Godadesh. First, go to my birthplace in Nadia and convey my many millions of obeisances at the feet of my mother. Tell her that wherever I go, I'm her servant. I've been unable to do my duty as her son, so I've become a great offender at her feet. I'm unable to repay my debt to her in millions of millenniums. If she mercifully excuses my offense, then I'll be saved. Otherwise, I'm ruined. I take shelter at her lotus feet. Then inform Krishna's devotees, particularly Advaitacharya, about my welfare." Receiving Mahaprabhu's order, Jagadananda offered his obeisances and left for Godadesh. When he eventually arrived in Navadvip Dham, he went directly to Mother Sachi and offered her obeisances. Then he submitted Mahaprabhu's humble statement to Mother Sachi. On hearing the statement, Mother Sachi repeatedly blessed her son. Jagadananda is a jewel among Gaura's devotees. He rendered various services to Mother Sachi. He informed all the other devotees about Gauranga's well-being, and the devotees were maddened with love on hearing the news. Someone lamented, "O Gauranga, why did you take sannyas after giving up the shelter of your lotus, after giving us the shelter of your lotus feet? Why did you drown us in misery like this?" Someone else said, "I've become most fortunate. Out of his causeless mercy, my life and soul, Gauranga has remembered me." Seeing the devotee's lamentation, Jagadananda was distressed. He left for Shantipur, where he came and offered obeisances before Advaita Prabhu. Out of love, Advaita Prabhu warmly embraced him and immediately offered him a nice seat. Advaita Prabhu then affectionately inquired about Gauranga's welfare, and Jagadananda disclosed everything in detail. Nowadays, Sri Chaitanya is always maddened in ecstatic love. Sometimes, in a morose state of mind, he calls out the name of Radha, and sometimes he shouts out, "Where is the Lord of my life?" The sound of his voice melts the hearts of all living entities. On hearing this, my Prabhu became maddened with unalloyed love and lamented, "O Lord of Gauranga." This was all he could say. After about 3 hours, Advaita Prabhu became stunned. In a few more hours, he roared. One moment he laughed loudly, the next moment he cried. The only words he spoke were manifest and unmanifest. In this way, Advaita manifested various moods, which a worthless person like me is unable to describe. Although I may not understand, I simply repeat like a parrot whatever I've seen. This is the principle of passing on knowledge. Shri Advaita Prabhu then made various arrangements for Jagadananda, and they passed that night discussing Gauranga's transcendental qualities. In the morning, Jagadananda humbly asked Advaita Prabhu's consent to leave. Advaitacharya then gave Jagadananda a message in equivocal language with an import that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand, but others could not. Advaita said, "Gauranga is the treasure of my life. I offer this prayer at his beautiful reddish feet. Please inform Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is acting like a madman, that everyone here has become mad like him. Inform him also that in the marketplace, rice is no longer in demand." those now mad in ecstatic love are no longer interested in the material world. Tell Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Advaita Prabhu, who has also become a madman in ecstatic love, has spoken these words. Hearing the sonnet, Jagadananda smiled slightly. He then took leave from Advaita and left for Nilachala. After some days, when he arrived in Nilachala, he saw Gaur, tears of love flowed from his eyes. He offered obeisances to the Lord, and Sri Chaitanya lifted him up and embraced him. With folded hands, Jagadananda gradually told Gaur the welfare of each of the Nadia devotees. Sachimata's parental affection is unparalleled. She constantly worships the Supreme Lord for your welfare. She begs the sadhus to bless you, and she herself blesses you with her hand raised. What can I say about Mother Vishnupriya? I was amazed by her unflinching devotional service. She renders various services to Mother Sachi, which even 1,000 people could not do. Every morning she accompanies Mother Sachi to the Ganges for bath. Other than that, she never leaves the house. Even the sun and moon cannot see her. The devotees go there for prasad, can see her feet only, not her face. No one can hear her voice. Her lotus face is pale, and tears always flow from her eyes. She only eats the remnants of Mother Sachi's plate. She maintains her health only to continue her service. If she finds time after finishing Mother Sachi's service, then she sits alone and continually chants the holy name. She has a strong taste for chanting the holy names. She is the topmost jewel amongst chaste ladies, and she is the embodiment of pure love. She has deep attachment for your lotus feet. Only by her mercy was I able to meet her. She had a painting made of you, which she worships with devotion and the chanting of the holy names. She conscientiously worships that form in a secluded place. She has dedicated her life to the service of your feet. Even Sri Anantadev cannot fully describe her transcendental qualities. With only one mouth, how much can I tell you? Mahaprabhu said, "Don't speak about this further. Tell me some good news from Shantipur about Advaitacharya." Jagadananda told the Lord about Advaita's welfare, and then he told him Advaita's confidential sonnet. Hearing that sonnet, Sri Chaitanya smiled and said, "I will honor his direction." Lord Gauranga then became stunned, and Sarup Damodar and others inquired, "O Lord, what is the meaning of the sonnet? We're unable to understand it." Lord Gauranga said, "Advaitacharya is that person who performed the uncommon feat of bringing Krishna to this world. The Lord himself is bound by the rope of his love. By his desire, Krishna again disappears. Who can understand the inner meaning of his sonnet? Saintly persons say he is the Lord of the demigods. He's like a desire tree of devotional service, and therefore worshipable by all." The devotees were delighted to hear this glorification of Advaita Prabhu. From that day on, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's emotional state changed markedly, as he manifested the ecstasy of Radharani's transcendental madness. He cried out, "O my Lord, O Krishna," in great ecstasy. He was unaware whether it was day or night. His devotees were all frightened by his condition. One day, as Gauranga was entering the temple to see Lord Jagannath, he exclaimed, "Oh, my Lord!" And just as he entered the temple, the door closed on its own. The devotees who had accompanied him felt greatly apprehensive. After a short time, the door opened on its own, and the devotees guessed that Gauranga had disappeared. Though Sri Chaitanya is never unmanifest to his devotees, his followers greatly lament, as people generally do in such circumstances. The lamentation was so intense that it burned the body, mind, and soul of all living entities, as the fire of Lord Rudra does at the time of annihilation. Lord Gauranga's pastimes are like an expansive ocean that even Ananta cannot fully fathom. I'm smaller than the smallest insect, yet out of joy I've written this brief description. Here in Shantipur, my Prabhu, in ecstatic trance, could perceive that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had departed from the world. In transcendental madness, Advaita Prabhu lost his external consciousness and called out, Nimai, Nimai. One moment he said, Come, Nimai, bring your book. I've a lot of work to do. Let me quickly give you your lesson. The next moment he said, I know your tricks. Tell me, by whose sentiments are you golden? Another moment he said, Nimai, stay in my house. Mother Sachi will be distressed if you go to another part of the country. And the next moment he said, Oh, Gaur, you're the director of Providence. You're the inaugurator of the Sankirtan movement. Then he said, You have hidden the treasure of Vraj in Vraj itself, so I cannot find it. What kind of trick is this? Advaita went on talking incoherently like this for a long time, until he eventually came to external consciousness. Then he called out, Hari, Hari, and roared loudly. Everyone said, Now he has some internal disease. Who could understand that he was experiencing the mood of Mahabhav? Only pure devotees could understand. I'm a most insignificant insect, with not even a reflection of knowledge. I have written in brief only whatever I have seen. One day, Sitanath was sitting outside his house happily chanting Hare Krishna. At that time, one devotee from Sri Kshetra came there. Advaita Prabhu received him with due regards and offered him a seat. Following standard etiquette, Advaita wiped away his tears and eagerly inquired about Gauranga's welfare. The Vaishnava said, Did you receive any news about Lord Chaitanya? According to what I have heard, he's departed from the world. And hearing this, Advaita Prabhu felt the whole world to be void. He loudly exclaimed, Now I understand, now I understand. Then he fell unconscious. After some time he regained his external senses. Then he exhibited various indescribable ecstatic moods like being stunned, roaring, rolling on the ground, crying out loudly, Gaur, Gaur. Mother Sita heard his crying and came to see what had happened. When she heard what had happened, she fell unconscious. She regained consciousness after a long time, and then she cried loudly and chanted, Chaitanya, Chaitanya. Shri Achyuta, Krishnadas, and Sri Gopal all cried in frustration. Among Sita Devi's sons, these three were prominent. They were all pure devotees who had dedicated their lives to the service of Gauranga. I'm unable to describe the lamentation. I have described only a very brief particle herein. That day and night, Advaita Prabhu remained unaware of the external world, as he fasted with his family members. And the next day, Advaita Prabhu held a large festival and entertained many Brahmins and Vaishnavas. Hundreds of poor people were fed, and many clothes and much wealth was given in charity. The nectar of the chanting of the holy names flowed like the Ganges and flooded Shantipur in an ocean of love. Many villagers, along with their family members, bathed in the waves of that ocean. From that day on, the master of mystics, Advaita Prabhu, constantly meditated on the form of Lord Gauranga. Mahaprabhu came and told Advaita in a dream, O Nada, don't feel distressed in my separation. Being attracted by your love, I've come to your house as the son of Krishna Mishra. After some days, Lord Nityananda will also come to your house as the son of Krishna Mishra. I will perform pastimes in the heart of your dearest son, Krishnadas. That eternal devotee of mine is always engaged in service, so I will again appear to fulfill his desire. Advaita Prabhu was amazed to have such a wonderful dream. That very day, Krishna Mishra became the father of a son, who was the exact image of Lord Gauranga, who enchants the entire world. Advaita Prabhu became absorbed in loving affection on seeing the child's form. The child was named Raghunath, and he was the reservoir of love. When the child heard the transcendental qualities of Gauranga, tears of love flowed from his eyes. In due course of time, on the occasion of Krishna's holy festival, a second son was born to Krishna Mishra. That child looked exactly like Lord Nityananda. the ocean of mercy, who constantly glorified Lord Gauranga. Advaita Prabhu named the child Shri Dola Govinda. On hearing this name, the devotees chanted the name of Hari in ecstasy. One day, Shri Advaita called his sons to a lonely place, and spoke to them in sweet words. My dear sons, please consider this and act accordingly. Please hear about the essential duties of ideal householders. One who regularly performs morning and evening prayers, and the Panchayagna sacrifice is most intelligent. Don't covet others' wives or wealth, or you'll suffer in this life and the next. Don't commit violence. Rather, be merciful to all living entities. Don't blaspheme, but rather glorify all sadhus. Plant tulsi in the courtyard of your house, for a house without tulsi is like a crematorium. Regular Sankirtan is the best process for destroying all sinful reactions and achieving perfection. By this process one will always have the association of sadhus. Thus one is easily freed from all offenses and the fear of death. One who always engages in Sankirtan attains devotional service to Krishna without doubt. Remember this one other instruction. Don't do anything for your own pleasure. If you lead your family life in the service of Lord Krishna, you won't suffer as the results of pious and impious activities. Material desires increase as a result of fruitive work. Thus, the living entity takes repeated birth in this world. Therefore, give up fruitive activities in all respects. Work for the pleasure of Krishna, and your desires will be fulfilled. In this way, Advaita Prabhu gave various instructions to his sons, who were very pleased as a result. Shri Achyuta, Krishna Mishra, and Gopal Das were always happily engaged in Krishna's service. They had a deep loving affection for Krishna and the Vaishnavas. Achyuta was completely detached from materialistic way of life. By Advaita Prabhu's instructions, the waves of the Ganges of love swelled, and his sons began offering many items in the worship of Lord Krishna. Although all three were seriously engaged in Krishna's service, Advaita Prabhu decided to offer Krishna's service to Krishna Mishra. The householder Krishna Mishra is a pure devotee, and I consider him eligible to serve Lord Krishna. Then the son of Labha said to Achyuta, Listen, dear Achyuta, you're my eldest son and the most advanced devotee. I feel fortunate to have you, a son like you. You're supremely pure and as well versed in the scriptures as Brihaspati. You're the crest jewel among the religious-minded, and your consciousness is very pure. From your childhood you've been detached from material life and attached to the wealth of renunciation. You've become averse to taking a wife. You consider the living entity's dear sense enjoyment to be insignificant. Therefore, you are not the proper person to do the activities related to deity worship. Krishna Das Mishra, your younger brother, is affectionate to the Brahmins, and he's a great devotee. He's a great scholar and has clear intelligence, as he is a storehouse of devotion. He's the crown jewel of pure devotees, and he's always pure in his habits. He always follows my instructions. He's dedicated his life to Gauranga, so he's very dear to the Lord. He got married and became a householder. In my opinion, he is eligible to serve the deity of Krishna. In particular, the two sons of Krishna Mishra are most religious-minded. They're devoted to Lord Gauranga's service. The eldest Raghunath and the younger Dola Govinda both find great delight in the service of Krishna. One day Raghunath said to me, How can the words of Veda Vyas be kept true? In the age of Kali, 84 hells were becoming full of living entities, but the path was blocked by Krishna Chaitanya. He delivered the living entities with the holy names. Please tell me how the living entities will fill the hellish planets now. On hearing this, Dola Govinda smiled and said, Hell will be filled with those who are envious of Gauranga. Hearing his statement, I was amazed. From that time I knew that these two are incarnations. How fortunate is Krishnadas! How fortunate are his sons! They're the right persons to serve Sri Madan Gopal. One who worships Gauranga is my own man. He's the proper person to serve my life and soul. Therefore I desire that Krishna Mishra should take the responsibility. What is your desire? Sri Achyuta cheerfully folded his hands and said, whatever you say is fine with me. Then Shri Advaita said to Krishna Mishra, Madan Gopal is the Lord of my life. Please, regularly worship him with love and devotion. Don't let materialists worship him. Monists, sannyasis, yogis, jnanis, atheists, and non-believers are materialists. Those who desire sense enjoyment or liberation are devoid of bhakti. They're also non-devotees and therefore averse to Krishna. I consider even Vaishnavas averse to Krishna if they do not follow a bona fide sampradaya, or if they follow a bona fide sampradaya but do not accept Gauranga. Listen to one other thing, Krishnadas. Among my followers, some are evil-minded and do not follow my order to accept Gauranga. Shri Gauranga, however, is my Lord, and I am his servant. The dust of his lotus feet is my foodstuff. Gauranga is the worshipful Lord of my life, so I reject anyone who does not accept him. All those who are averse to Krishna are mean-minded and never qualified to serve the deity of Krishna. According to the Vedas, the ideal son is one who maintains his father's occupational duties. Advaita Prabhu then enthusiastically turned over the worship of Madan Gopal to Krishna Mishra. Obtaining the service of Sri Madan Gopal, Krishna Mishra offered his obeisances to Advaita Prabhu in ecstatic love. He offered humble prayers and obeisances to his mother, and Sita and Advaita both offered him their blessings. Krishna Mishra then humbly offered his obeisances to Shri Achyuta, who said, I am amazed at how fortunate you are. Krishna desired to shower his mercy on you, and he manifested that desire through his own dear devotee, just as Krishna manifested Vedic knowledge through Brahma. Saying this, he embraced Krishna Mishra. Gopal said, Krishna is very kind. By showing his mercy on you, the whole family's benefited. Just as by watering the root of a tree, the branches and leaves flourish. How fortunate you are. Then he offered Krishna Mishra his obeisances. Krishna Mishra warmly embraced Gopal, as well as Advaitacharya's other sons, Balaram and the powerful Jagadish. Then, in an angry mood, Jagadish and Balaram discussed with their followers and carefully brought one deity of Krishna. They performed Abhishek and installation of the deity and held a big festival. Shri Advaita's pastimes are like a boundless ocean. I'm briefly writing about only one drop. Praying at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Shri Advaita, always desiring their mercy, I, Ishana, narrate Shri Advaita Prakasha.